Mr. Gibellina?
Afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon. My name is Glen. I am a citizen of this country, resident of Florida, and a taxpayer. I want to thank you for the opportunity to come before this board, and I had an opportunity in Bartow as well, and I appreciate that. Loss of a child is catastrophic in its own right, but loss of a child through parent alienation is far worse than a loss of a child through death. At least with death you have closure. Through parental alienation, there is no closure. Florida has not really recognized the severity of parental alienation, and I'd like to bring it to this board's attention. It's sad that we have other countries, such as Brazil, that have laws on the books that recognize parental alienation. They don't take it lightly. They change custodies, there's sanctions, there's fines, there's jail time for the other parent. The worst thing you can do is alienate a parent. Mexico has laws on the books for parental alienation. Serious consequences that this board needs to address. Parental alienation, when performed by one of the parents, suspended in the exercise of parental rights, therefore visitation will not exist. And if the parent of the alienating parent is moderate, they'll lose custody. If it's severe, there will be no contact. The brainwashing has been done. And that calls for a severe action, such as taking away those rights of that alienating parent. And I can assure you that it goes on every day in this courtroom. Thomas Ball, 10 years. Set himself on fire in front of the courthouse over parent alienation. Parent alienation is the worst type of child abuse. It's got to stop. It has got to stop. We don't need any more Charles Balls. And there's plenty of documented incidents of death through parent alienation. I brought this to the board before. I've proposed the 3 strikes legislation. I'll leave this as well. And I would appreciate if these courts would recognize it. Let's talk about that wrecking ball and who runs it. The family court runs it. You look at the alimony bill last year that was vetoed, 2013. Voter approval, overwhelmingly in the state and Senate, 85-31. The constituencies of this state agreed that there should have been some alimony charge. And by the way, in this bill, there was a pre-evidence that there would be a 50-50 custody. What's so hard about to understand that? But you know what? Members of the Florida Bar lobbied Rick Scott to veto it. And in fact, he did at the last hour. When you have a small number of attorneys that control the rest of the population and against the free will of this people, we have a serious problem. The family courts are beyond repair. They need to be dismantled. They need to be dismantled. When you get David Manns, a marathon lawyer, and a past chairman of Florida law, saying the bill is anti-family because it would give divorced parents equal custody, that man needs to get thrown off the board. He needs to be disbarred. When you get a judge or magistrate, you talk about technology. Let's talk about the technology. When they have the case in front of them, and they're going, well, where are the safeguards? When you have dockets that are 600, 700, 800 pages long, dockets, again, 13 years, 805 entries, thousands of pages. My case is still open. Manatee County, 2002, DR 3254. This is insane. When a judge gets this and says, where's the parenting plan? That's the first thing that should come out of a judge's mouth. Not, who filled out that financial affidavit? That's not what the parents want to hear. We want a fast track to our children, and they are being held by hostage time and time again. Rotation? We got the same judges coming back to family court. I wrote Judge Owens about it. How can this be? I've yet to hear a response. Now, Judge Owens is a fine judge in the 12th. We have 3 circuits, by the way. He did a court order, administrative order, and I'll leave this with you, that basically says, we will accept nothing less than 50-50. This is a great order. Now, you talk about a parenting plan or a financial affidavit. Every parent, every divorcing parent should get a copy of this, initial every page, and put their attorneys on notice that we will not be held hostage by the family courts in the arena that they play their games on. I sat across the street today listening to court. I was blown away that temporary attorney's fee were more important than an emergency order for this father to see his children. It is unconscionable that we continue the family courts to operate under the guise of the best interest of the child. They don't know the best interest of the child. The parents know the best interest of the child. I think you need to get rid of all the experts. I think you need to start at a 50-50. And we're just asking for some hope. We're asking for timelines, for some safeguards to be put in place that says, you know what, we see a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not a train wreck. That's the hope that we need.
You can see your time's up. If you could wrap up, please.
Okay, I just want to thank this board, and I'll try to make it up to Jacksonville. If not, I will see you in Lake City. And I really appreciate you opening up this to the public and judges and other attorneys. This is what this state needs. And I want to thank you.
Thank you for your time, sir. If you want any of that paperwork, you want to turn it in over on that side. Okay? Thank you.
All right, our next speaker